Now it is 2022 and I'm still nowhere near robot ready. All of that's still there. And while I've cut down whatever mystery tree that was, as well as the big bamboo all the way up top, I still have to dig him out. The patchwork of soil here with all its dips and divots, that's all still there. Hasn't been fixed yet. And somehow, somewhere, I need to keep going with this. So I think the immediate tasks are as follows. Those plants that need to be rooted out, and that chaos corner down there needs to be straightened out. At first, the nightmare corner just did not seem to want to get any smaller, no matter what I did. There was a pile of shrubs I had unearthed and thrown here, old Christmas trees, branches, etc. that now formed quite the thicket, intergrown with bramble and stinging nettle. Next to it stood the original compost bin, a hasty and ill-informed purchase, and years worth of grass clippings just sitting there in a big pile. There is a big patch of juicy and very defiant nettles, more shrubs and branches, and of course my pile of schist slabs, also grown through with bramble and more nettles. I had to start somewhere, so I tackled the grass issue first. No more fresh clippings added to the pile. For now, these all go to our nearest recycling centre. Those clippings from previous years that hadn't turned into sludge yet, I cheekily added as well, just to bring down the volume of the pile a bit, as it was still quite overwhelming. I cleared the nettle around the schist first so I could tidy those slabs up a bit and make getting to the other branches easier. Then I pulled out all of the bigger and easier to grab branches and shrubs off the big pile and chucked them onto the trailer for a little ride-on mower to be taken to the front of the garage, where I shredded them into mulch. I really don't know how much yield is normal or anything, but shredding produces really quite a lot of mulch. Like there's a half bag there, that's the last bit. I have this massive bag here, and this is all really fine natural mulch, and that's what I get using this blade shredder here. I have another one, which is this gear roller that just crushes stuff into much coarser mulch. I have another bag there, and of course this massive bag here. So anything that's a little thicker, like as thick as my thumb or more, up to 45 mil, goes into the gear roller and just gets crushed into these bits. Anything that is smaller, like about this thick, goes into the blade shredder and gets pulverized. And that's really good. I can use this as ground cover and to prevent weed growth, like I'm doing there around my yew wood. And this here has the same qualities, but also has a certain decorative element just because of how thick and how chunky it is. Right, in the next iteration of work on the nightmare corner, the compost bin that was situated there is gone. All of the branches, etc. that was stacked up behind it are gone. What I still have to get rid of is all of these stinging nettle roots that are everywhere in this soil, because it's very composty, so very rich in nitrate, etc. So that stuff unfortunately grows really well, and that's the compost bin there. Can't wait to get rid of that shit. Absolute failed design. There's no ventilation holes, anything in there. It's really just a black bin. And this stuff here, it's been sitting in it for a year, and I can still make out food remains. It's not very good. Not a very good design at all. I've no idea what I'm saying here because the wind completely wiped out the audio. Looking at what my hand is doing, I'm probably complaining about all those weird looking substances in the soil and thinking out loud that I need to build some sort of soil storage / compost bins to convert all of those grass clippings, dried out horse manure and sawdust piles into usable soil and clear the chaos corner further. So that's what I went off to do next. The structures I want to build are supposed to be 1.2 meters long and 1 meter tall, and these are going to be the bottoms and the tops, so the height pieces are going to be sitting between them. These are 4.5 centimeters wide each, so for 1 meter height I need to cut 91 centimeter timber bits, and that should give me exactly 1.2 by 1 meter. Does it have to be exact? No, it doesn't. But it's how I like it, so here we are. So because I have to make quite a few of these 91 centimeter timbers, I'm just building myself the easiest, laziest jig imaginable. So this bit here, 91, pushes right up against the saw blade. So I'm just taking a plywood cutter on the other end, clamping this to my desk. So now I know any bit of timber that I push against this and cut will be 91 centimeters. Now I just have to get these together using screws, of course. And because one of these is 4.5 centimeters, I want to use ideally screws that fit the same, or that sit the same length in material. Then both pieces, I don't have 9 centimeter screws. I only have 8 centimeter. That'll do. These are 4 mil wide, which is more than enough for my purposes here. All of this wood is terribly warped. Can't be helped, which is why one leg sticks out this way and one leg sticks out there. So be it, doesn't matter. That flattens it to some degree, but not a whole lot. Now there's two things halfway proper and find the middle. 60 centimeters. This is so terrible. Anyways, it's all scrap wood. Can't expect it to be too straight. Or straight at all. That frames are done. This is how big this thing's going to get. And I may still have to build 2 more so that I can add another compartment there for even more stuff. Anyways, time to move on to do the siding. Add some more scrap wood. Now the frame is made of 2x2s. That's 2 inches by 2 inches, or 4.5 by 4.5. 2 inches would be 5 centimeters, but Anything measured in inches is always approximation. It's never accurate anyway. I digress. And these slats here that are going to keep the compost in the frame. These are 2x1s, or intendedly 2 inches by 1 inch. In actuality, they're 4.5 by 2.1 centimeters. And the way I space them out is I use one of these, put it upright in there, and then slap the next one against it, bang in the screw, and that's what's giving me. And that's what's giving me my sidewall. Back wall, side wall, and another side wall. I didn't have enough of these long, like 1.2 meter bits here. These, I think these are 1x3s. So I just cut them to 60, whatever lengths I had, and screwed them in the middle, and that worked pretty well. So in other words, I just reinvented a pallet. The panels were built, but the sides still needed preparing. This consisted of clearing most of the loose crap still lying around and leveling the ground to an acceptable degree. Then I put down building blocks to support the panels and made sure that those were nice and level as well. After that, I simply screwed the panels together at their frames. With the first bin standing on its own, I added 1x3 cut-offs to the inside and outside of the forward-facing 2x2 frame bits, creating a kind of guide rail that I would later slot front panels into to keep all the dirt from simply falling out. Right, next up, I'm going to go with the old compost and the wheelbarrows behind me, and I'm going to sift this in, well, only the finer bits. All of the larger crap like bones and whatnot is going to stay out. I don't want to attract anything rodent-like to this place, since this is going to be mostly grass clippings and horse manure that I want to turn into soil. I'm not going to bother with a mesh here to keep mice etc. out. I don't care. In order to help break the grass down better, I first put down a layer of older compost, which also needed further breaking down, then covered it with a layer of lawn trimmings, then later more compost, and so on. It's a layer cake. Bit of bull noise trim board, no idea where this is from, and it's nice and capped, but doesn't matter, because for this purpose, it is absolutely perfect. Well, perfect may be a strong word, but it definitely suits the purpose. So the next board will have to go in at some stage, and because of course they sit in loose here, what I want to avoid is that they start shiplapping each other. So I'm gonna have to make myself some spaces. Now I've got plenty of cut-offs. These two seem to have a good size, which happens to be almost exactly 10 centimeters, so this is nice. Measure the thickness, and that is 2 centimeters. I can get 2 pieces of 2 centimeters out of this one here. Perfect. I just so happen to have cut-offs that all have the required size. That's great. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. I'll settle for crude but functional. What I'm using now is just these 6 centimeter long screws. They're just enough to cinch these all together nicely, and that'll do the job. Right, there we go. I could add one from this side. Why not? Why not? fit test. Much better. Just tiniest bit of wiggle room. And that wood has the tendency to just balloon up when wet. I guess adding a little more allowance or tolerance is not the worst idea. It's probably going to get tight enough in the rain. Yep, I would call this sufficiently crude. I had not known this previously, but apparently cardboard is a good bulking agent for composting greens, like for example grass clippings. Right, there it is. That is as full as I dare make it. I did add these braces up here on the top just to keep it from spreading apart, and it's quite evident that this one cube is not enough. I have to build a second one, presumably down here. Now of course I had to start raining in the meantime, but I've got my ground leveled out. I've got my 4 foundation bricks in there and leveled out. So all I need to do now is build 2 panels, one for that wall and one for the back, and then slap them onto the existing one, because like that's going to be the middle partition. I don't need to build a 3rd panel. The time is midnight, so Saturday morning. And I'm just trying to get another frame done for the next compost heap, but I don't have enough of these slats here. They all came from up there. They were like, what are they called? Furring strips, something, purlin, whatever. There's one left up there, and another one that's probably like 4.8 meters. Actually, scratch that, that's 6 meters. Over there, I need 5 more pieces at 1.2 meters. So that there's going to be my 6th piece. And then I can make 4 more. Well, I could make 5 more out of 6 meters, but 4 more that I need from up there. So I've made it my mission tonight to get that sorted. Get off. Can't see what I'm doing either. Well, that can't be good. Oh great, it's split. Hopefully I can get a good 1.2 meters out of this. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Right. Just get all them screws out and nails. Get the ends cut off. And prepare this for its final destination. Oh, and I'm using 2 bits of 2x2s screwed into an L shape to connect the front of the second bin to the front of the first. Later on, another brace will go across the top to help the bin keep its shape. Right, and there's a second compartment. It's on a slope, so this one sits a bit lower. Oh, because these bits here are different than the ones I've used there. I hadn't accounted for the thicknesses being a little bit different, and that's why there's this bit of a step here. But it's fine. It's a compost heap, for Christ's sakes. Not meant to be a study in architecture. Well, the farmer's been busy converting what was a Mordor cradle landscape into, I guess this is another field, either for hay making or for pasture. But it looks nice, better than what was here before. I've been not entirely idle myself. Made some headway here in reducing this rotten grass and I think horse manure is what I'm standing on, like year-old or 5 years old horse manure pile that the stinging nettle is thriving on again. And I filled those two compost things, towers, whatever, pretty much up to the brim, and it's quite evident that that's not enough. So I've started with a foundation for a third. Only those 2 blocks at the moment. These ones are a bit sketchier, because if I start moving the soil there, there's a good chance that those blocks are going to start slipping, and that wouldn't be good. It's dark, and once again it's windy, and the original audio was wiped out. From what I can decipher, it is around 11 PM, and I really, and I mean really, want to get the third bin installed before packing it in for the night. It isn't by any means critical, and I'm not under any time pressure. I just want to know that this is finished before I hit the hay. I'll just quickly clump these two together, and this should do the trick. And that's it really. That's decent enough, I suppose. And because that's quite dark, here are the 3 bins in daylight. And whatever the composting capability of these soil composting storage bins, here is one purpose they can definitely serve. And I guess that's good enough for me.